Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. Blizzard just released a new balance patch for Warcraft Rumble, the last balance patch before the holiday season, and this one includes the Anub'arak and the Onyxia changes. So let's take a look at what has changed. I first check the update notes as such and then analyze them a little bit, so let's take a look. So Anub'arak, scarabs are now marked poisonous and single target, okay. Anub'arak movement is now properly listed as slow, that's still nothing. Leader ability, Carrion Feast. Scarab beetles are spawned at Anub'arak's level, rather than the level of the mini that spawns them. That's one important change. Scarab beetles no longer spawn at the location that undead and bestialized die. Instead, those scarab beetles spawn at Anub'arak. Another important change. Fixed an issue where the cap of 12 scarabs was shared between players in PvP. Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous, but that was actually a bug. Talent Explosive Shells, the main talent for Anub'arak. Poison is no longer applied to enemies when a scarab beetle explodes. That's another major change. Explosive shells will also damage buildings. That's actually a buff. Increase explosion damage from 35 to 45. Okay, that's some minor buff. And talent Trapdoor spawns 12 scarabs, up from 6. No changes for the other talent. And this mechanics change to make explosions damage buildings also has other effects. Pyromancer Blaze of Glory damages buildings. Spider Exploded Carapace also damages buildings. And then the Onyxia changes. Onyxia now receives temporary damage reduction when changing phases like some other bosses in raids. In case of Golmak, I timed this previously and it was 5 seconds for each phase change, during which time it was nearly invulnerable. And then Onyxia now clears all poison on phase transitions, so you can't stack poison anymore through all 3 phases. But not only that, but they also buffed Molten Core again. Bosses in Molten Core clear all poison on phase transitions. So the main boss that this affects is of course Golmak, because you kill Golmak with Chimeras and with all the poison from Chimeras. And now all the poison stacks are going to be reset at every phase change. Now, if your Chimeras are high enough level, then it just doesn't matter. The Chimeras will live and they will keep poisoning Golmak. Or you can just do the Welbeck thing on Golmak. So there's still ways to clear Golmak, but I don't know what the lowest level possible is now, because it should be higher. Previously we were able to just barely get it done, and now with all the stacks being cleared, Golmak takes so much less damage, so you need higher levels to compensate. Then bug fixes, some known issues. Scarabs spawned at Anub'arak, spawned at the level of the mini that died, will be fixed in a future update. Trapdoor description is incorrect. And there are some cases where double Anub'arak in co-op missions can stop spawning scarabs. We are investigating for fixing a future update. Alright, so what does all of this mean? First of all, it means that Anub'arak is much weaker, and strategies that you use with Anub'arak will have to change. The unbound strategies with Anub'arak are, well, I want to say they're dead, or at least they are severely hurt. There are going to be fewer poison stacks, because explosions no longer poison, and the undead scarabs spawn on Anub'arak instead of at the mini. And that is actually super significant as well, because you need Anub'arak near the front. I tried it a little bit. I put Anub'arak in the back, and then I spawned some unbounds, and then I spent some more unbounds and I didn't get any more beetles. Why didn't I get any more beetles? Well, I didn't get any more beetles because Anub'arak was far in the back and I had 12 beetles trying to fly towards the front. So you can really super easily get into a position now, if Anub'arak is far away from the fighting, that all the beetles are just en route towards the front line and no new beetles can be spawned. And that's actually a super big deal if you try to use Anub'arak in the back and unbounce at the front. Explosive shells, they do now damage buildings, so that's a buff. It can be important on some maps, it might change something in PvP, but of course you're losing far more. And then scarabs spawn at Anub'arak's level. That can be a bad thing, that can be a good thing. Largely that means that you really want to level up your Anub'arak, because if you have a super high level Anub'arak, even if your other minis are a little bit lower, then you're still going to get high level scarabs. So this definitely rewards people who pay in order to get Anub'arak levels. So yeah. And then it changes to raids and Onyxia. These kinds of multi-phase poison strategies, where they're not exactly dead, but if you try to do them on a low level, then they are dead, because all bosses clear the poison stacks now. So that means that you can't just keep stacking poison and get the win through that. Of course, if you have a little bit higher level poison minis, and you can just stack enough poison for each phase, then yes, the main strategies will still work, but they will require higher levels. And the main effect of this is going to be on Golmak. It's going to become much more level intensive now. And obviously Onyxia Onyxia the Anub'arak nerfs, and these mean that the Onyxia strat with Anub'arak as it was, that is now dead. Maybe some kind of new iteration can be built, but yeah, can't clear Onyxia at 20.9 anymore. So Blizzard is actively trying to destroy strategies that enable people to complete content at a lower level. I have had this happen many times, like half a dozen of my strategies have been nerfed, because Blizzard wants to push a pay-to-win approach to the game balancing. They want you to get levels over strategy. If there's strategy, Blizzard doesn't like that. Blizzard doesn't like that people can be smart about the game and win at a lower level. They want people to pay for the game and get to higher level, and then that way just get more income and then win through levels instead of winning through being smart. And yeah, it's really, I've never seen anything like this before. Like in World of Warcraft, they just don't buff the raids when people come up with ways to clear them. But Molten Core is now 6 months old, and they have buffed it multiple times. And every time so that the bosses that you can clear at the lowest level are being made more difficult, so that you would need higher levels in order to progress through the raid. So re-clearing Molten Core now compared to what it was like in June, it's way, way harder. And yeah, I think this is a terrible balancing strategy, but it seems to be the one that Blizzard has adopted for Warcraft Rumble. Pay to win. That's what they want. Anyway, I will still keep making strategies that enable you to win even without paying, as long as you're good enough. Anyway, and yeah. So the cycle goes on. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.